So welcome, Jaimie.
Hi.
Oh, very quick. Hi.
Hello.
It's great to see you again. I've been watching you on Facebook and everything else. We've been connected for the last year and a half, but we haven't had a proper conversation like this since I left you in Michigan.
I know it's been forever. I've been watching you guys too. It's been really cool to see everything that you're doing all around the world.
Oh,
Literally.
and you. But I was so disappointed because we met in 2022, October 2022, and I was so keen to come back to Michigan last year, 2023, and I couldn't make it. I couldn't fit it in between work, and I was so disappointed. But hopefully, if Matt runs some more, I hope to get over there again soon. So that'd be good. So your music. Oh, you were going to
Mhm.
say something, Jaimie, and I just cut you right off.
You are all good. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
I love it. So, as I mentioned in the intro, and may have got it wrong, you are a music composer and a multi
Mhm.
musician. So, you write your own music, you play tons of instruments. You also, now, please correct my grammar on this. And Anishinaabe, did I get it right?
Close. It's Anishinaabe. Yeah.
Say
I'm
it
Native
again.
American.
Anish
Anishinaabe.
Well, you say it so quick. Okay, so you've been practicing and I haven't. So tell us what that is.
It's I'm Native American and we don't really have a word for I or me, just kind of we as a whole, and that's it. That's how we identify ourselves as, I'm Anishinaabe. So it's kind of cool. I'm half Native American. I was raised mostly by, I mean not mostly by, but I lived primarily with the my father who was not Native American. So I was kind of isolated from that half of my family growing up. So I'm still learning everything myself. And it's kind of hard because you can't trust what you read on the internet. You just kind
Mm.
of all of our history is handed down from generation to generation. So every native's history of their culture is different because it's just based on their family.
Mm.
So
So,
that's how we identify ourselves.
yeah, and I love what you're saying about that, about the interpretation or the perception of different people, and my partner and I have gone through this. No, not my partner, my sister and I have gone through this same sort of journey just recently of our different perceptions of our childhood. When you kind of assume that everybody is living the same reality as you, and that
Mm-hmm.
everybody has the same experiences. I mean, you don't assume that, but you kind of feel like, well, this is who we are as a group, and this is what happened, but we all experience things so differently. It's fascinating. Did you, when you said you were raised by your dad and you sort of were a little detached from that, did you have this inner yearning or inner sort of feeling that I belong somewhere else, or that I'm missing a sense of belonging or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, I'm half Native American and I'm half white, but everywhere I went, I wasn't either. I was just, oh, she's just a half breed.
Mm,
Um, I wasn't white enough to be with like everybody else, and then I wasn't native enough to be with other natives because I mean most people think I'm Mexican because my hair is crazy curly and I've got the darker complexion and the dark eyes. So
that's
that's
true.
my husband still low key kind of thinks I'm Mexican, and nothing wrong with that. They're all cool people, but I'm native, so it's a weird place where I'm at right now.
No, it's funny because, but did you reconnect? Like, have you reconnected back into the native part of your family? And
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They're all super accepting, and they're teaching me new things, and I learn something new about us every single day. So
mm,
that's really cool. And I'm like, oh, I never knew that before. A couple years ago, we had a funeral and I learned a whole bunch of other customs that I didn't know that we did before. I didn't know that we were buried with tobacco and cedar. I didn't know that. Um, and I even sat next to my grandma and she sat my grandma, she suffered a couple strokes, so she doesn't really speak much, but she looked at me and she goes, "You never really got to hang out with us." And I was like, "Man, ow, you're
mm.
right." So it was obviously sad having to lose a couple family members, but I was also fascinated to see all the culture that I had missed out on.
Mm.
And we ate a lot of fry bread. It was amazing, the fry bread.
I've just it's fascinating because I've just been listening to several podcasts and over the last 6 months or so and reading books about people who have lost their sense of belonging, or who have recently found it, but spent their life, not knowing where do I fit and all that kind of stuff. So I find that stuff really, really fascinating and really sad. Do you know that well, I guess for the fact that it sort of has been left out of your life, but also the fact that we don't celebrate other cultures. Like we're not open enough as a whole, the whole world,
Yeah.
to just be going, wow, like tell me more about that. Let's embrace that. Let's celebrate this. And I know that we can't just go ambushing other cultures, and being part of some things that are truly just for them. But I think that we'd do better if we spend a lot more time trying to understand and celebrate, all the different cultures that make up this amazing world. So I'm glad you've. Sorry.
You're okay. Yeah, I was disagreeing with what you were saying. Absolutely.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. But anyway. So with that in mind, you're saying you grew up with your dad. So that back to your music, and certainly not to trivialize any of the rest of that stuff, because I think that's just a truly wonderful part of you. And by the way, I think you get your exceptional good looks from that side of the family, because us white people, I don't reckon there's too much good looks going on. I reckon native people have got much better looks. But anyway, that's irrelevant. But you, I mean it. I do. I think it's amazing. But you grew up? You said with a. You didn't say, but in your bio, you grew up with a in a musical family. So, who were the musicians around you?
So I was raised by primarily my father, Jared. He was the one who was the musical one. My mom, I love her to death. I love her passion for music, but she's tone deaf. And she knows it. She owns it. So I get the musical skill set from my father's side of the family. Like, he played guitar. He always wrote music too. He can sing in key, but he sounds like a dying cat when he sings. It's fine. um, my uncle plays drums. My other uncle plays everything under the sun: keys, bass, guitar, drums. He can't sing though. And then I have another uncle who's just he's just really smart. Um, so I grew up with that side, and they're all super musical. I grew up going to the studio as a kid, being bored out of my mind because I was a kid in a small room in a studio, and I learned a lot because I had nothing else to do because it was in the 90s and there was no cool toys or technology. So eventually I just started doing it on my own.
Were they all brothers? Were these all your dad's brothers?
Yep. Those are all of his brothers. Yep.
And so what were his parents like? Were they musical, or where did that streak come from?
My like his mom is a lot like my mom, very passionate for music, but also tone deaf. Very sweet lady. You'd love her.
Yeah.
And then my grandpa, I don't have a lot of memories of him. He's alive and well, but I don't really associate with that side of my family anymore.
Mm.
Um, but from what I can remember, he encouraged music, but he was not a musician himself.
Mm.
But
Wow.
and grandma, she was always very enthusiastic for us, expressing herself through music and all that fun stuff.
Mm.
But she just couldn't join in.
It's fascinating when you say that you sat in a studio, and you were like, well, what is there to do? When I was a kid, I was mad music. I used to play tennis rackets, until I finally got a guitar that just about broke my fingers, because the action was so high, and I was only 7, and this guitar made my fingers bleed. But I wasn't
Oh
giving.
yeah.
Oh God, it was a steel string acoustic, and oh my God.
Ow.
Yes, I know. But when I was 10, my auntie got married, and everyone else is dancing and all the stuff that you do. But no, I got myself a stool and I perched it right up in the middle of the band. And I sat up there the whole night in the middle of the band. And, I thought I was the band. Yeah, I thought I was part of it. But it's I think when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. And so, in one way you're saying, I just got sort of stuck in the studio and therefore I kind of got into it. But I think that if it wasn't in your blood, you actually wouldn't have, you still wouldn't be playing now. You kind of would have said, well, that was
That's
a phase
true.
in my life, blah, blah, blah. But I also read that your dad bought you a piano when you were 4, and you just took off from there naturally.
Yep. Yeah. I don't remember this story, but one of my aunties told me that her son had a piano and I just kind of watched him play and I was fascinated by it. I don't remember. I was just there. And I guess from there, Jared brought home a little mini keyboard for me and then I just kind of taught myself how to play. I mean, I wasn't no Mozart or anything. I played Mary Had a Little Lamb, but for a 4-year-old, that was
That's
pretty cool.
That's good. And then you progress to but you taught yourself. The point is you taught yourself how to play
Yep.
music by ear. Yeah.
Yep. I would sing I would sing what I wanted to play, then I'd just keep going until my fingers finally found the note. Um, and then eventually I just didn't need to sing along with it anymore, and I could just play it on my own without any vocal assistance.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now you're a multi musician, like you play multiple instruments. Was it the same experience with all of them, that you just picked it up by ear and just started playing?
Not the guitar. I had Jared show me a couple of chords on the guitar because I mean, going from piano to guitar is very different.
Very
I
different.
mean,
Yeah.
it's the same on the piano, it's the same thing over and over and over again, just multiple octaves. With the guitar, everything is just different. What I can do on my right hand is different than what I do on my left hand, whereas on the piano, everything's the same.
Yeah.
Also, learning placement of everything and fingerings and stuff, it's super weird, and you had to like build calluses on your fingers, and of course it hurt. It was so bad. And of course Jared was always extra, so I learned on a 12-string acoustic. So instead of having to learn how to hold one string down, you had to
Yeah.
hold two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had tiny fingers at the time, so that was not easy. But I fell in love with guitar too.
Yeah.
I can't shred or anything. I'm basically just like a church guitarist where all the songs are played in C or they're capoed.
Yeah.
But I can get by.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's funny when you say that, because I think a lot of people give up before they can play because it hurts so much. And I think this is the bit that people don't realize, is that bloody learning guitar hurts. It's one of those, it's not you kind of look at it and go, oh, wouldn't that be cool just to strum some songs on the campfire, and then they pick
Yeah.
it up and go, holy shit, this really,
Just
really
kidding.
hurts. But it reminds me of every time, like starting projects and all that kind of stuff, or doing anything new. It's kind of, it bloody well hurts at the start.
It's the growing pains.
It is, and you can't get to the end. When you say it's funny, because I started with guitar, I can play piano and I play bass and drums and other stuff. But when you say a piano is so easy and a guitar is so complicated, all these bits, I find it the exact opposite. When I sit on a piano, I think get both hands going at different times, and I find it really difficult. I can do it, but it's really bloody hard. So yeah, I think it's whatever your brain wires first, for most people, like unless you're just one of those geniuses, because there are people who just pick up anything and it's just their brain just goes. It's just genius.
I think that's my Uncle Joel.
Yeah, because people can do it. I know people who, and they don't even like pick up a saxophone. I've never picked up a saxophone before, and in 5 minutes they're playing it like a pro. It's like, wow. But anyway, we can only wish to be like that, because it would be bloody lovely. But
it would be.
And what I want to get to eventually, because I just want to get a bit of background on you, is that your project at Hero Roundtable, and that's what we're so so we're getting to that, guys. If that's what you're wondering, but a really great thing happened, and is still happening, and we'll get to it. But it's just evidence that you come up with an idea, ideas don't happen straight away. But let's keep going. So then you ended up joining bands and all that kind of stuff, and so it's in your blood. You can't get out. You're still in a band now. Just the basic, basics, just the basic,
just the basic,
just the basic. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and your passion is to help people. So you, and I want people to hear this, because where we live in a world of academia, going to school, and if you don't go to university, you're a dumbass and stuff like that. Not everybody says that, but that some people who don't go to university can be made to feel that by people say, oh, you'll never get anywhere unless you go to university and what have you. So you went to study psychology because you wanted to help people, but that didn't go down.
Nope. I don't want to say I'm not book smart, because that would be rude to me to say to me. But I did struggle academically. I'm ADHD. I was diagnosed at 14. So sitting still and learning and focusing on one thing I don't get along well with that.
Yeah.
And in a lot of college environments, you have to do that. I cannot. And then eventually it got to a point where I was 22, and I was like, okay, I need to get my first big girl job. I need to be an adult tier adult. So I did that. And eventually it just got to a point where I just started working, and I just forgot about school, because I was like, I'm busy. I have to be able to support myself and just survive, because living is expensive. Existing is expensive.
Yeah. But also that gives you the freedom to work on your music as well, like in any spare time. Well, depends on the job, but it's important. So, and there's always a struggle, I think, if you start university, then give it up. There's always that guilt. Oh, I'm a quitter, and everything else. I don't agree with that. I think you're exactly right saying it's not about your intelligence level. Because you book smart doesn't mean you are. That doesn't make that the measure of intelligence.
Right.
Intelligence is, well, you've got musical intelligence. Some people have got nature intelligence. Some people have got communication intelligence. Some people have. It's completely different. And again, this is coming back to the culture stuff. If we were to celebrate everybody's learning style, and what they contribute to the world, we would stop competing, and we'd be in a much better place. So psychology didn't work, and thank God, because you're making all the music that you're making, you'd probably be just listening to other people's problems and then realizing that you had more problems yourself than you realized you did. So it's because I think that's what happens. But it's so then you tell us about. Let's talk about Hero Roundtable, and I'm not sure what came first, Hero Roundtable or the song you wrote for your friend. Which one came first?
The song that I wrote for my friend came first.
All right,
and
tell
that's
us.
So a couple years, last year, no, it's 2024 now. A couple years ago, my friends and I were out at a concert, and we were having like a little girls' night. We were talking, and she was in a relationship with the dude, and he wasn't all that great. He was kind of a douche. And she was venting to me and talking about how she always felt like she was the villain because he always played the victim card. And she was like, I want to break up with him, but I need to be the villain, or I need to be the victim. She was like, I need to break up with him, but I need to be the victim. And because he always plays the victim card, and I'm sick of being the villain. And I was like, okay. I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, well, you don't have to be either. You can, be your own hero. You're a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. And she was like, yeah, I agree, but I just really need to be the victim this time. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let this go because it's really loud and I'm kind of drunk. And so a couple days later, I was thinking about that conversation. I was like, man, that would be really cool to like have a song about being your own hero because, you know, strong, independent woman, we're in a different time now. We don't really, I love Josh, but I'm with him because I want to be, not because I need him. You know,
Yeah.
we're in a place where we don't need husbands to support us.
Yeah.
Um, so I was thinking about that and I was thinking about Helen and then I was like, why settle being a victim when you can be a hero? And I was like, oh my God, it's a song. And then an hour later, I had it written and I was like,
Wow.
hey, Helen. So I was thinking about our conversation and I wrote this. And then she connected with it and she's like, that's really cool. That is awesome. I feel like you really spoke to me with that song. And then a few weeks later, they broke up and she graduated from college because she is really good at academics. She's living on her own. She moved out of her parents. She's doing her own damn thing and she's
Mm.
really happy now. And I think that's really awesome.
And it was probably the song that contributed to that, you know, because if she had gone down that victim mentality road, you know, then it's what happens is we all know this. You start doing that, and then you attract the next villain, and then you attract
Yep.
the next villain, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And so you kind of put her on this whole self-empowerment journey. You probably don't want to take the credit for that, or you probably don't even see that that's your superpower, but you know, it is.
I think of it as like a little nudge, like, hey, you don't have to do that. You can do this. Nudge.
See, that's the difference between you and us. You're like this tiny little kind of one of those baby hammers, and I'm like a sledgehammer, just across it. That's awesome. So this whole, and back then it wasn't an idea. It was just like my friend's suffering, you know, or you know, he's going down this dark bloody hole. Let me write
Mm-hmm.
this song and see if I can pull her out. And then realizing that the healing power of sort of, because she didn't have the words to convey it properly, and so you kind of put a whole lot of her words into
Mm-hmm.
something that she could truly sort of consolidate and take in. Now, then we had the Hero Roundtable, which I talked about before, in Michigan
Mm-hmm.
in 2022 in October, and you attended, and I hear that you attended just so that you could listen to speakers and munch on some popcorn and like it was a bit of a sideshow. Uh,
I had no idea what to expect. I just knew that there were speakers, and I was like, oh, with speakers and a theater comes popcorn. So I'm in. I was in for the popcorn.
there was no popcorn, no.
No, there was not.
There was damn good coffee, but popcorn.
And really good walking tacos.
Oh yeah, there was too. Yeah, there really was.
Yep.
It's yeah, it's so and then I you can tell the story from there, but I spoke at that thing, and I hope you enjoyed the popcorn while I was speaking, and then and then I did a workshop, and you panicked. You're like, holy
I
shit.
tried to get out of that too.
So
I was
tell us
like,
what.
so I was like, wait, we have to interact with people. Crap. Can we go get snacks and go somewhere else and come back for the rest of the speakers? And Josh, my husband, he was like, no. So I was like, okay, well, I really liked Karen's speech, so let's go to hers. And he goes, okay, cool. So we go to your workshop, and again, I had no idea what to expect from this. I had no idea what to expect through this whole day. Obviously, I thought there was popcorn. Um, so I looked at your worksheet, and the very first question on there, I remember the first question was, you know, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I don't know, something musical. I'm good at music. So I put IDK something musical. Literally word for word, IDK something musical. And then you like kept walking us through it and explaining the questions and encouraging us to don't hold back, don't feel like your idea is stupid, just keep going with it. And I was like, okay, I'm watering the seed, something musical. And then I started thinking about, you know, I went to school for psychology. I wanted to help people, specifically kids. I went to school for child psychology. But again, sitting still doesn't work for me. I'm sure you've noticed I'm fiddling a lot now. Um,
Go for it.
um, So we kept going through it, and eventually it got to a point where I was like, okay, I want to help people. I want to help people with music. Psychology didn't work. I know that music therapy is a thing, but I don't know how to like target specific themes and stuff to a person like in their problems. And I was like, well, I helped my friend Helen, and then even in just the basic, they had a song written, but they didn't have words, so I started writing words. And one of the members, he was saying, "Oh, this reminds me of the mother of my children, who they don't really get along." Um, and I was like, "Okay, so is that who you're talking to in this song?" And he goes, "Yes, that's who I'm talking to." And I was like, "Okay." So I continued the song with that in mind, and he loved it. It's released. Um,
Mm.
so I've done that twice now with Helen and the my band member from Just the Basic, and I was like, okay, I can do that for other people. I've done that before. I do it for myself all the time.
Mm.
Um, so why not continue doing that? And eventually, I wrote that all down, and you stopped everything, and you were like, okay, now does anybody here think that their idea is stupid? I was sat in the back, so I didn't think you were gonna call on me. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, me. And no one's gonna. And then you were like, you. And I was like, oh shit, what's your idea? And I was like, I want to write songs for people and help them with stuff. And what? I wanna help people with by writing songs for them and their problems. And you were like, and you so enthusiastically were just like, please do that. That is an amazing idea. I can't do an Australian accent. To save my life.
Please do that. That's what I would have said. Oh, that is a fantastic idea. That's how I would have said it. You have to do
Yep.
that. Yeah.
That is exactly how you did say it.
Yep.
and then you were like, does anybody here think that she should continue this idea? And everybody's hands went up, and I was like, oh shit. And I started crying. And yeah, I was like, okay, so we're gonna do it.
And I do remember you sitting, you picked the wrong spot to sit because you were directly in my line of sight, right up the back. And I went, that's funny because I'd forgotten about that bit where you said, where I said, does anybody else think that this, she should do it? I forgot about that bit. And you're right. Every single person put their hand up and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, they weren't just being polite. They were like, oh my God, you absolutely should do it. I do remember you crying, and I do remember feeling like an asshole, but only for a split second. But I mean, I love people crying, and I really do love people crying, and it's because I see in it, I see this there's two parts to it. It's a release, it's kind of like a relief.
Yep.
Of, oh my God, I'm okay. Like something that's been blocked for so long just starts to flow out. But the other part to that is that I believe we have a conflict between our heart and our head, and they crash and they come out as tears. And it's so let's have a look at what's in the head, what's in the heart, because these tears are telling me that I've got this conflict somewhere. We've got to have a look at it. And our head tells us so much bullshit. Our head is just full of shit. And so, and in that moment, I know, I absolutely saw it in you that you were like, this could happen. I actually could do this. And then you left after I'd called you out and all that kind of stuff. And and by the way, I've got to tell everyone this. Jaime didn't run away from me, because most people think, oh shit, she's just going to run away and avoid me in case I start badgering her. No, we got on like a house on fire. Jaime came to the hotel and had some after parties with us, and absolutely really embraced the moment. And I think you just love me encouraging you, but I'm so glad you did that, because I got more chances to say to you, fuck yes, you do that buddy thing, for God's sake, you do that thing. So, even that joining us very often, there's a lot to be said about that. It's kind of like, even if you were doubting yourself, it's still kind of, I'm still really keen. I still want to hear more. I still want to I still want to be inspired. I still want to be motivated. Please keep telling me to do this thing because it's the thing. However, then you left the whole, it all fizzled out. Like we all went home and everything else. And then your brain kicked in, your head started.
Yep.
Now this
Yep,
is,
I started.
I want you to talk about this because this happens to everyone. And a lot of people think it's only them. Like a lot of people come up with an idea and then it fizzles out, and their brain, their mind screws them over. And a lot of people think they're the only ones who experience it and they must be stupid. They must not be good enough. It was a dumb idea. I'm not good enough. There's a whole lot of shit that goes with that. And I want people to hear what you've got to say because I want people to understand that everybody goes through this same process. So I'll shut up. Okay, your turn.
You're all good. So yeah, I did start. I had a fire lit under my ass. I was gonna get started. I talked to my husband. I was like, "Hey, can I build a website? It's gonna be this much dollars a month." And he goes, "Okay, I don't care. Do whatever you need to do." So I started building the website. And I was going through your book that you gifted to me, Get Off the Bench. Thank you, by the way. And I was going through step by step, and I was like, "Okay, step one, build a website. At least draft it out, figure out what you're doing, learn how to do it because I'm technologically stupid."
No, you're not. It's not one. No, it's just not one of your intelligences, and that's fine. That's fine.
And even just building the website, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't do this. So I was like, okay, put that part on the back burner. Try taking another step. And I was talking to the sound engineer at the studio that Just the Basic works at because they're basically just a studio band. We don't do shows or anything. We just record music, release it, call it good. And the studio engineer was telling me, we charge this much a month, this much per hour for like a solo artist, and this much for a band. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be a lot of money because I'm a perfectionist and I like to redo things over and over just to make sure I get it right. I can't afford that right now. Shit. And so I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this right now. I'm gonna put it on the back burner and focus on things that I can do. So I had only recently started taking my songwriting very seriously in the past couple years. So that was the other thing that was blocking me because I was like, I'm still new at this. Nobody's going to want to hear my perspective on their problems because I'm not good yet, you know? So I did. I put the whole project on the back burner thinking maybe in like 10 years I might be able to actually do that. So I focused on other things. I focused on Just the Basic. I focused on my solo project. I released an album that was cool. I released a single that was cool.
Wow.
And I just kept I just kept doing everything except for that project.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I got really good at expressing myself through my songs. So finally, just in like November, I was talking to Josh, talking about how it'd be really cool if I had an idea and I could just record from home, just because I'm very impatient too.
Yeah.
So I'm broke and I'm impatient. I had a really good friend help me with my album, and he's a busy guy. I don't want to pressure him with my stuff, but I also don't want to wait for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, it'd be really cool if I could record from home. I explained I don't want to wait for things to get done. I just want to do it myself. And the studio is an hour drive away from me. So, and I don't want to drive an hour out of my way and pay money for the time in the studio and the gas because gas is expensive. To get all this stuff done. And he goes, okay, what do you need? And I was like, oh, okay. What do I need? That's a great question. I need software, a microphone, and a little mini keyboard, maybe a guitar so I can do stuff and things. And it goes, okay, done. You're probably also going to need a better computer or a better laptop. And I was like, okay, there you say. And he goes, and we can probably also convert our closet into like the perfect place for you to uh make music. And I was like, okay, cool. And a week later, not barely a week later, he goes, so I ordered you a MacBook, and here's all your Christmas presents. Here's your foam stuff. That's what's these guys are right here. It's my foam for soundproofing.
Jaime,
and he goes,
not for those just listening, Jaime is sitting right now in her closet recording this podcast. So go to YouTube and have a look at it. But anyway, keep going. Yeah.
So he goes, we've always sucked at holding Christmas presents for each other. We always given them to each other early because we're not good at secrets. So he goes, here are these foam pads for you. You can work on them in the closet. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And halfway through getting all these bad boys up, Josh comes in the bedroom and he goes, so I decided to give you your other present too. And then he puts this little MIDI keyboard on the bed. And I'm like, oh my God. And start crying. And he starts laughing at me because I'm crying, because I cry easily. So I cried on the first date. It's not a good trait.
It is a very good trait. It's a very good trait.
And then so I set everything up. The MacBook wasn't going to be here until like a few weeks later because, shipping and holidays and stuff. So I got everything set up to the best of my ability. And he was like, and we're also going to get Reaper, which is the software that I'm using to record. I'm training myself. I have 2 songs very sloppily recorded, but I'm learning, so it's good. And finally, I was sitting in the closet looking at everything, and finally the Hero Roundtable popped back in my head, and I was like, I can do that now. Because I have the software, I can finally do that. And then I started crying again, sitting on the floor in my closet with the foam, looking like a crazy lady. And Josh walks in, and he starts laughing again because I'm sitting without any music going. I'm just sitting in the closet crying. And I looked at him and I was like, I can do the Hero Roundtable thing. I can do the Soul Song Project. I can help people with my music. And he goes, yeah, you can.
Oh, how fantastic. I love Josh. I love you too. I'm gonna pause this conversation because I think that we need to hear one of your songs. Now, this is not one of the songs that you're writing to help other people, because that's going to kickstart very soon, and I'm going to tell people how they can do that very soon. But I want you all to have a listen to one of Jaimie's songs. Now, this one is called Yesterday, and it's chunky guitar, and it's kind of like a bit of a heavier rock song. But and Jaimie also plays songs on just keyboard. She goes from extreme to extreme, and she is an exceptionally talented musician. But I just want you to have a listen to this one, because I want you to hear the vocal range that Jaimie has. I don't know how the hell she does it, but her voice can just go in every direction. And I've heard the song that you wrote for your friend, Don't Be a Victim, Be a Hero, or whatever that one's called. But that was I was in tears listening to it, because I thought, oh, holy shit, that is good. And that was just keyboard and Jaimie's voice, and it was freaking beautiful. So let's pause. Let's listen to Yesterday and then come back and talk about it. Here we go.
Seasons change and the leaves
Righto. So that is you've got me bloody already sort of like I want to get my guitar out now and start like playing because I'm kind of pretty amped up about that. But that is absolutely bloody fantastic. And if people want to let's start talking about this project, because now you actually can start doing it, and that's not to take away from all the other music that you're doing, because you're still going to be playing in your band and working with just the basic and writing your own stuff and releasing your own album and all that. Actually, before I talk anymore, what's the name of your album that you have released?
The album is actually called Blurred.
Blurred. Yep.
Yep, and it's just Blurred by Jaime. No last name or anything, just Jaime.
And where can people get that?
Anywhere that music is released, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, Apple Music, wherever Samsung users get their music. I don't know because I don't have.
No, I don't know either, but yeah. So people can download it, buy it, and download it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And it's on Amazon too. I didn't know Amazon had music, but they do. So
it is, cool. Yeah. And so I just want to say that if you are searching for it, it's Blurred, as in BLURRED, by Jaimie. And Jaimie is spelled Jaimi, just in case you searching a different spelling of Jaimie. So go check out her. Not yet, because we haven't finished the podcast, but when we finish, go and check out her music and download, buy some of it and support her. But now this, the project that you do want to do to help people, and now you finally can, because Josh is a bloody legend. And do you like my guitar t-shirt? Look, I put all my
I do. That is awesome. I was going to comment on that.
I had to wear it just for you. I said, now what's today's about music? Right, where's my guitar t-shirt? I wear this a lot, actually. But now that Josh has, what a wonderful husband is. I've met Josh, spent time with Josh. He's absolutely beautiful. You actually, he hardly says anything. He literally says nothing, but just smiles. This tiny little smile, and he's just the sweetest, softest soul. He's utterly beautiful. So he's gone, and I'm giving you early Christmas presents. You're ready to go. And now what you want to do is start looking for people and let's go back to the confidence and self-doubt bit for a second, because you've sort of said, if anyone's willing to trust me, or, I don't know what I'm doing, but I need a couple of, you didn't say guinea pigs. I think you said another word, and I can't, willing participants or something.
Tributes. Willing tributes.
willing tributes. And so, and of course, like, that's the way it goes. When you start something, people are kind of like, maybe I'll dip my toe in, maybe I won't, that kind of stuff. But Jaimie is looking for a couple to get started. And after that, it's going to take off. And if you've got something that you need to say, or something you want to say for yourself, or an inspiration to yourself, or you've gone through some heartache or anything like that, and you don't have the words and you want to express it in some way, Jaimie can absolutely freaking do that for you. She's absolutely amazing. And even if you don't understand what she can do, reach out to her and have a chat. But Jaimie, is there anything you want to add to that? Because I want you to, I know you don't want to sell yourself, because that's not who you are, but now's, tell us anything I've missed.
I mean, it's basically having a connection with someone. I want to connect with you. I want to feel your pain. I want to feel your hurt, so that I can understand where you're at. If I can feel the things with you, I'll be able to better express that. And it's not even just you have a question that you need to answer and I can answer it, because that's not what this is about. I don't have all the answers. It's basically a new way of connecting to, it's a new perspective of what you're going through. It's maybe you might want a letter from someone. You might want to hear, if you have a loved one passed away and you want to hear, talk to them. I could possibly talk to them. Like, I'll take your words and what you want to say to your loved one, and I could put it in a song. Or maybe there's something that you might want to hear from this loved one. I might be able to do that for you. Or it could be closure. Like, man, I was in a relationship with this person. They were my everything. and you just need an awesome breakup song. I'm really good at sad songs. I've learned. I'm working on happy. I'm getting there.
People don't usually need to express happy. They're pretty good at it usually. But
yeah, exactly. But if there's something that you need to feel or express, or something you need to hear, I might be able to do that for you if you just give me a chance.
Jamie's still underselling herself, saying I might be able to do that for you. I guarantee she will be able to do that for you. And if you're thinking about the song yesterday that we just played, it's quite guitar-y and chunky, and it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more piano, softer, maybe guitar, whatever. But it will definitely be. The music will absolutely sit with the words and absolutely move you. I can't tell you how much I moved when I heard that song about being your own hero. It was I remember Jaime sent it to me straight after and I can't play it for you because it's the band has taken ownership of it, and so I can't do that for copyright reasons. But Jaime sent me a copy of it, a raw copy of it, straight after the Hero Roundtable. And I didn't know the story about the friend. I didn't really put two and two together. And I was like, holy hell, what is this song? Oh my God, Father. And and I'm not just saying it because, Jamie's on the call with me. Like it's absolutely fantastic. And I see there's that there's a thing that I see on Facebook coming up. I can't remember what it's called, but where people are writing songs for each other, and you can see their faces, and it is so damn special. But this is even more special because it's Jamie's talking to you, she's connecting with you, she's feeling you. So if you want to do it, just do it. And if you do it, I want to hear the song. Absolutely want to hear it. So Jaime, is there anything you want to add to this? Because I'm about to ask you where people can start hunting you down, but do you want to add anything before that?
Well, there will also be an option for your specific song, and it's completely up to the person who has the song, for me to use that song and release it for the public, because you never know, your story might connect with someone else. And any profits toward, like, from that song specifically, if there are any, because let's be real, you get like a fraction of a penny with every play. Any profits that song will get, and this is like 20 years in the future, because we're starting from the ground up. This is the very beginning. I eventually want to get to a point where any proceeds can be donated to a charity of that person's choice. It could be about like domestic violence, like this specific song could be about that, and we could donate it towards a charity that helps people who are victims of domestic violence, and any other type of charity or anything. You will have the option to release your song. You will and have your story be shared for other people to connect with you. Everything's going to be all private, so it's not going to be like, this song was written specifically for John Smith, who lives in Ontario, Canada. You can find him at this address with this phone number. No, it's just going to be like, this song is about someone who has dealt with this, a real person who has dealt with this issue.
I love that. And I'm going to confirm, reaffirm what you just said, though. There's a 15th of a penny that you get after Apple and everybody else has taken all the top loading. But but the fact that that you could, one, be contributing to a charity of your choice and supporting others is bloody fantastic. And by the way, Jamie's saying that's optional, and she would never share your stuff without your permission anyway. But the other part to that is that we talked about it before, when you sort of walked away from Hero Roundtable and had the self-doubts and had the the blockages and everything else, and we often think that we're the only one going through stuff. We often think it's just us and I'm a failure and everything else. But the fact is, if you wrote a song for somebody and it was well, not if it was meaningful, of course it's going to be meaningful, but if it were meaningful to somebody else, you know, who's having the same struggles, it actually does help people a lot to realize that hey, shit, I'm not alone. And in fact, all of us do that through songs. Yeah, when we're going through a time, oh, that song, that's my song. Do you know that? Oh, this is a song, and we. Even now, I think back to teenage years, you know, that I can relate songs to certain moments, and I think music is magical, and we forget that. Yeah, we do forget that. So, if anybody wants to have you write a song for them, well, I can't wait to see this go. I see the value. It's such massive value to people, and just the closure, the connection, the soul value. Like, this is deeper than just an exchange. This is a deep, 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 you know, healing for people. So where's the best place for people to connect with you?
I don't have a specific site set up for this specific project yet, but right now I do have an Instagram page that's dedicated to my music. Yep. I've gotten better at checking requests because I did not know requests were a thing until fairly recently. So you can always find me on there. It's under Jaico Music. It's JAICO.music on Instagram, and I have a set reminder every single day to check requests now because I did not have that before, and it became a problem.
Yeah.
So
I don't check Insta either. I'm shocking on Insta, but anyway. But you're going to check every day because you got your thing. Yeah.
Yep. And I will eventually get a Facebook page made for this project. And I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but once I figure it out, you guys will be the first to know. And if you do find me on Instagram, I'll put it on there too, because I do think that this is a very important project that needs to be, I don't want to say done, but like started, completed. No,
initiated.
Thank you. Yes. Initiated.
Yeah.
I do think it's important because everybody connects to music, but how cool would it be to have it be specifically for you?
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that.
No, not everybody can say that. There's something really special about having a song written for you with your heart in it. Really special. I'm going to put all that. I'll put your links in the show notes and your Spotify and, you know, that kind of stuff, so people can go and listen. But when you do, if you do update, you know, make a website or have a specific Facebook page or something like that, I'll add it to the list on the page dedicated to you. So
thank you,
Jaime. I love what you do. I love you. I always have from the minute we're bloody connected. You're just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful human. And by the way, Jamie's a dog lover. She's got two. What are those dogs? They're so. What are they?
I have two Alaskan Malamutes. They're Malamutes, so huskies on steroids.
They are like huskies on steroids. That's so damn big, and they love the snow, and they're just they're absolutely wonderful. So anybody who's a dog lover is you know, already up in my books pretty high. So, but you're just a bloody wonderful human being, and you know, and I love your heart. Your heart is so just, it's so warm and filled with love, and just want to make the world a better place. And I, you know, have so much admiration for that. So thank you for finally coming back to this project. And that's not said with holy shit, where have you been? Because we all have to let things consolidate. You know, nothing happens overnight. But thank you so much for believing in yourself and, you know, coming back to it and saying, I'm finally at a place where I can do this now, because I think the world truly needs it, and it needs it with your touch of love. So thank you.
Thank you. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you calling me out. Saying, you, the musician. I want to talk to you later.
You keep pointing like I was like pointing at you like really like, by you. Well, I'm glad I called you out. I'm super glad I called you out. It's the very first time I was in 2019, I was over at Hero Roundtable again, and I called out a woman there who was totally didn't believe in herself, and it was for taking photos of going into families where there was a child with autism and going into their homes because they couldn't come out in public. It was just too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't believe in herself, but she did go ahead and do that. And also at that same workshop was Jaime, who has started Coffee Rescue. She was at that, and she did a talk at this last Hero Roundtable. So for her, it's come all that way. That she wanted to make coffee that was to rescue animals, and that's taken time. Things don't happen overnight. That was in 2019, and she got to speak at the 2023 Hero Roundtable, to share her journey of doing that. So that was Jaime Brock. So I must have a thing with Jamie's calling out Jaime. I don't know, but the autism photographer wasn't Jaime. But so I know my workshops work, and I know that it changes a lot of lives. And you put a thing on Facebook on the 17th of December, and I'm going to call you out now because you didn't bloody tag me. And
sorry, I can do that right now.
No, it's all right. I found it. Matt from Hero Roundtable tagged me and said, "Kez, you better take a look at this." And I saw this amazing post, a very long one, but a wonderful story about how that workshop has come to fruition now. And it's for me, I was saying to my partner Nikki that how many other people have been through the workshops that I never get to hear about, who just don't circle back. I mean, I could have found that on your page if I had gone searching, but we all know we haven't got time to be searching everybody's page.
Oh yeah.
It's how many other projects come to life, that you never know about. And the point to that is constantly encourage and celebrate and inspire other people, because you just never know, when you might say that one thing that changes their life, and then they go on to ripple effect and other people's lives and make a big difference in the world. So that stuff's important.
Yes, it is. It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope I get to see you again, maybe this year later in October, or maybe the next year. I don't know, but I will be back in Michigan, and I can't wait to see you again. But I cannot wait to hear what happens with this. And thank you so very much for sharing this journey with my listeners.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed being here, and I cannot wait to see you too.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll catch you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eve. See ya.